And as always, we're going to be looking for accurate context, good risk management, and always exercising good patience.
Anytime you're talking about fundamentals in a market and direction, fundamentals take a little bit of time to play out.
We got crude oil today, kind of trading yesterday's value area really nicely, low to high.
That's what we're here for, is to put ourselves in the best success. A trading routine does that, builds that habit, lets you know what to work on, what to reflect on, and what to improve on the next day.
Good afternoon, friends and traders. Welcome to the Market Recap. I am Dan Hodgman. It is Wednesday, December 8th. I hope you guys all had a spectacular day. And yes, it's Wednesday. I've sent multiple emails here today saying Tuesday, and been corrected multiple times. I guess it's been a week for me already to get going here, but pretty exciting time to be around. We got some opportunity in these markets. Nothing huge. Nothing huge. You got stocks staying inside for the most part here today after a couple days of big rallies. So we've had some big directional move. Finally seen them slow up just a little bit. And those aren't the only ones slowing up. You got crude oil kind of slowed up a little bit as well, accepting over that $71 last night in that market. Kind of works itself around a little bit till it grinds out a little bit higher of a move. I think settlement price yesterday was $72.05. It pretty much hit that wall up about $72.50 here today, and come about 9:30, 10 o'clock, it really just sat at $72.50. Nothing huge up, nothing huge down. S&P's opens up this morning, kind of right at settlement price, pushes a little below, and then a slow grind up, and the same thing with the Nasdaq. So we've been seeing these huge ranges in these markets, and that was not the case here today. I mean, crude oil, prime example, we've been seeing $2, $3 moves pretty regularly. Today, open to close, we saw $1.50. I guess if you go extreme to extreme off the open, $71.50 runs up to about $73. But for the most part, about $1 move there. Same thing with these equity markets, relatively quiet. Gold, on the other hand, opens up this morning right at settlement price, works itself lower, goes into a high volume congestion area from yesterday before it starts to pick up a little steam to the upside. So we're seeing a little steam to the upside there. We're seeing the big move in the euro today, finally kind of breaking out of this downside move. And we caught a little bit of a buy signal at the end of the day in the 10-year note, but that market for the vast majority here, that's still continuing in trend to the downside. This is not a market state change when we look at the 10-year note. All right, so outside of that, news is relatively light. There's not a whole lot to talk about. Stocks pretty quiet. Really, that's about it. I think the biggest news coming out today is Tiger Woods is going to be playing with his son in the PNC tournament. So Tiger Woods coming back to golf for those of you that are golfer fans out there. Hope you guys have all had a good day so far. Felix and PK, good to see you guys there. Let's go ahead and take a look at these charts here and just kind of see where some of the opportunity was. All right, as always, we're starting with our crude oil market. Yesterday, remember we were talking, and I'm a big channel guy. I like to kind of define my extremes when I look at these markets. And yesterday we started to see this market break outside of my channel, and that's where I'm not a huge breakout trader, so I'm kind of sitting on my hands. Well, we finally got some chances. If you're trading during London session, we saw it come check the extreme. Now I'm just extending these channels we've been looking at here for the last few days. We started looking at it tail end of last week into this week, and I'm just kind of extending, and I'm not changing what we're looking at. So this market comes, checks the low side. We get a move to high side. We break off the open. Now on the open, here's what I want to talk about a little bit. Here's what I want to point out to us. If you're trading and you're looking at trying to define some trend lines like this market here, obviously off the open, we miss our move to this channel by about 20 or 30 cents. Now, with the market ranges we've been seeing, risking 20 or 30 cents is totally reasonable because we're seeing multiple dollar moves. You could take that trade. You could go long at 50 here and see if you can kind of run it up possibly to point of control from yesterday. See if we can check that point of control. So you got $1, approximately $1 in that upside move there if you're going to take that trade. Totally could, right? We got $1 upside move. We could risk 25, 30 cents. Well, if you're going to risk 25 or 30 cents, it's $250, $300 in risk. Now, what's going to be another verification or desire to head into this trade? While we're looking at it, we see overnight consolidation really has kind of held in that 70 to 50 range, right? We can see it multiple times in the overnight session. But here's what I look at. Outside of value yesterday, where's our next big highest volume node that would just fall shy of or be outside of value point of control? Right here at 71.57. Okay, we got a high volume node with a gap down below. So we've got a little bit of help here. Okay, I'm getting a little bit more justification into accepting the long off the open here to possibly continue with trend, because that's what we're looking for. We want to find weakness in directional moves. It's exactly what we want to find. That's what we're looking for here. We're looking for justification and reasons to take that opening sell-off, right? Because that opening range pushes lower, does not make a new low, doesn't fall into a new directional move, doesn't move outside of anything that we're looking at, still well within inside, gives us our weakness to go ahead and take the long down below and run this thing up. That to me was really a good opportunity there. Next, let's go ahead and look at S&P 500. Like I said, like the title says, these things stayed inside. Really quiet day here all around. Market opens up, pushes to low side of value from yesterday. This market's trending higher. What are we looking for? We're looking for weakness. We want to find weakness at points that are going to create opportunity. Well, we've got weakness coming down right to value low from yesterday. Value low from yesterday here is up at 75. Kind of pushes through a little bit, but again, we're not jumping in the second it gets there. We're waiting to see price action. We're waiting to see how markets react. Do we bring in more buyers? Are we bringing in more sellers? What's going on there with price action and order flow? Market starts to reverse pretty well. And another great chance to utilize value area. And all we're looking to do is see this thing kind of rotate from low to high of value from yesterday. So we're getting in down here right around that 75 level, and we're just looking to see if we can get it up to 92. Really a great opportunity. Yeah, 17 handles sets up really nicely here for a great trade to take that move low to high. All right, when we're looking inside, that's what we're looking at. We're trying to find areas, find those extremes that we can get in on the low side and rotation right back to the high side. That's expectation with a market that's been trending higher. Hey, probability is in our favor if we're looking for inside trade rotations. Now, if you're coming here and you're looking for a breakout, that's where things start to change, right? We do have areas down below to keep an eye on, possibly on check point of control down here at 45.90, but that's just too aggressive for me to take that short, thinking I'm going to get a breakout, giving up all yesterday's gains and this week's gains without really any terrible news coming out. Nothing to be concerned about. Next, let's go ahead and look at the Nasdaq. Nasdaq, similar setup here today as well. Opens up kind of right at settlement price, 16,318. 16,318. Market opens up pretty much right at it, presses lower. Where does it come to? Works its way right down to value low. Misses it just slightly, but we're seeing weakness trying to accept below point of control. We're seeing weakness in this market rejecting low value from yesterday. Now's our chance. Okay, let's look for rotation back to the high side. That's what we're looking for. Market's trending higher. We look for weakness. We get a little weakness off that open. Still within value from yesterday. Boom, we take the long as we approach the low side of value, and we look to see if we can run this thing up to potentially value high from yesterday. That market continue to move through. We're going to end our day here on our highs with another day ending higher than the prior day. So this market continues its trend to the upside. Next, let's go ahead and look at the gold market. Gold, interesting day here in gold, right? What are we looking for? Well, gold settled yesterday. 1784.70, and market opens up just above it, works below it, does not make it to value low, and you can see this is right here. This is the visual we want to start to look for. If we're seeing this market really struggling to press lower, to continue directional move, we're looking for volume to weaken, right? Basic principles of volume. If market's getting directional and you're seeing volume start to slump off in that direction, look for market to hold and possibly return higher, change directions. Market does exactly that. We get a little bit of support here. Market finally starts to rotate back higher. And once we start to notice a rotation, And that's going to take a little bit. You got to be patient here. You start to recognize rotation, market's moving higher. Boom. That's something you got to pay attention to. Look for that recognition. Wait to see that this market's getting weaker. And then you can take your longs and possibly rotate back inside. Market traded really nicely within value from yesterday too. Next, let's go ahead and look at the euro. Now, the euro is the big mover here today, right? All right, so we've been looking at this market. It's been trading well within side trend. Yesterday, we looked at it, or inside our channel yesterday, we looked at it and said, okay, cool. Here's a chance off yesterday. We got the low side of channel. Let's see if we can work the high side of channel. Market does work the high side of channel in the overnight. Breaks outside of it, and here's what I love to see prior to the open. It tried to get back into that range we've been looking at, and it rejected it. Once you see that rejection of accepting back inside that channel, that's where we get to start to look, all right, where can we look? We're going to get the breakout. We've got this market now showing signs of a breakout. You know, getting in over here in the overnight session, let's just assume this is regular trading hours here because it's a great visual. Getting in over here is going to be a lot more difficult. It's not going to be as trustworthy of a trade. Once you see acceptance outside, which we saw for hours last night, we saw acceptance, and right before we opened up, it made an attempt to try and break back inside. It rejected it really nicely and sent the market in the opposite direction. Market opens up, continues with direction. Now we're just looking for weakness. It's all we're looking for. Market state's changed. This market has broken out, made a move to the upside. Now we want to continue with that directional move, and all we're doing is looking for weakness. We had a couple points of weakness throughout the day, be able to hop in on this trend, and by the end of the day, we got real quiet. Okay, next, let's go ahead and look at the 10-year note, and we'll call it. PD and Mo, good to see you guys as well. All right, 10-year note. What did I just do? Oops. All right, so market opens up this morning, continues lower. Continues lower. We started to get a little bit of a rebound here, like I was saying earlier, towards the end of the day. And here's what we're looking at. We see market attempting to get to inside of yesterday's just regular trading hours. We've got swing lows. This market got rejected pretty darn quickly. That really, to me, is our best chance as we approach our 20-period moving average here. Rejection, we got 2 points or visuals or key levels to look at here. We got swing low, and we have moving averages. Great opportunity to take an incredibly tight short here and see if we can get rotation back to the downside. So I'm not seeing the long side opportunity down here in a market that's trending lower. I'm struggling to just continue to make buys. Yeah, we can look at this and recognize it is low side of channel, right? We're on low side of channel. We're seeing a little bit of strength coming in here. We want to recognize where that strength is, take the shorts from it. Now, we are maintaining pretty decent channel here. Simple adjustment here. We're still maintaining channel, and that market rotates back up. Okay, now, hey, look at that. We got 3 reasons to take the short here this afternoon for rotation back inside. All right, so those are our markets here today. There was some opportunity out there, like I said, a little bit tighter today. Remember, you got to come in new, realistic expectations each and every day. We've been seeing huge ranges for the last week or so, 2 weeks in a lot of these markets. You talk crude oil, that thing's been all over the place. We got a lot tighter here today. S&P's, Nasdaq, pretty tight over there as well, which have been showing pretty decent ranges as well. So you just got to come in managing those expectations. Just because it gave you something, one day or the last couple days you've been seeing something similar doesn't mean it's going to happen each and every day. You're going to have days that are going to get a little quieter. So don't come in, risking thy entire wad. Continue to trade smart. Look for those extremes to get in on those extreme areas where you can keep your stops relatively tight. Michael, good to see you as well. All right, we got Bitcoin today up a little bit, 50,995. Remember, I mentioned this yesterday. Last year, we bought Bitcoin 34,000, Airbnb $148 a share. So we bought those two on the first week of the year last year. We're going to do the same thing again. We're going to take a look where they end the year at. We'll take a look at them. We'll talk about it. And then we're going to pick some other things to possibly potentially buy or sell and hold throughout the year just for something fun to look at and continue to watch. All right. So Bitcoin just shy of 51,000. Airbnb up $186.49. So we got $38 into that one since we bought that one at $148. AMC up a little bit today at $32. These meme stocks, they're so much fun to watch. Now you're starting to see bigger sell-offs here in GameStop, down to $160.81. Tesla up a little bit today, $1,068.96. Robinhood, another update for Robinhood, $23.72. Rivian's up as well, $122.12. And the VIX, no surprise, we're finally below that 20 mark at $19.99. So just a few days ago, we were up at 28, and now we're selling that thing off pretty heavily. All right, today is Wednesday, so we tomorrow have jobless claims coming out at 7:30 a.m. Central Time, and CPI, don't forget, on Friday. And one more time, tomorrow afternoon, there won't be a recap. It'll be Michael, founder of Top Step, and I sitting down, taking questions, talking about some things that we've got going on here at Top Step. And we want to have you guys, make sure you guys join. Bring some questions about trading, about Top Step, about whatever you got going on. And we'll be there for about a half hour, 45 minutes, taking questions and just talking. So hope to see all of you guys there. All right, last but not least, this date in history, and we'll get on out of here. First one, this is basically like the last time the Chicago Bears won a football game. In 1940, the Bears beat the Redskins 73-0 in the NFL championship game. So the Bears do have some championships under the belt. PD, how am I going to learn patience to hold on a nice trade that is working? I know higher time frames, etc. How am I ever going to learn patience to hold? Okay. Well, first off, PD, the first thing you got to do is know where your out is, right? You got to look for where that exit point is. If you're getting in without knowing where you want that market to go, it's going to be really hard to sit and hold. It really is. It's so difficult to sit here and think, well, maybe it's just going to keep going. So if you sit down and you do have those key levels, let's say you go long on a market, you look for those key levels up above. So there's number one. Number two, setting time around it, right? There are a lot of times we're going to take trades and we have expectations of when the market's going to get to those levels. If it doesn't get to it in the specified time, then hey, we're going to want to get out. For example, a breakout trade. If we're going to take and execute on a breakout trade, we want to get paid pretty quickly. But if we're looking to trade trend, we have to accept that this could be a couple hour long trade that we're going to sit in, and we just have to be patient. So really set those parameters around your trade when you go ahead and get into the market. All right, and that's number one. Higher time frames, absolutely. They slow the view of the market down. They slow that movement down too for our eyes. Another thing, it's hard. Go get up and walk away. Stop looking at it. We become micromanagers, right? We get a little in tune and distracted with the trade, and we want to be involved as much as possible. So step away. Have your stops in place. Put your stop in there. Whatever you're willing to lose on that trade at a point probably of a point of inflection where that market may, if we get down there, we have to make some adjustments. So make sure you get our stop in place. Look at our target. And here's what I do if I'm going to step away, because I want to ensure if that market gets relatively close to my target, I want to lock that target in. So I'm going to get up and walk away. I'm going to actually bring my profit target, my take profit, exit. I'm going to bring that a little bit closer in, maybe 10%, pending on, how much I'm looking for. I'm going to try and bring that in a little bit to ensure I lock in. If putting my target at a key point, right? Let's just say we see a point of control and we're trading S&Ps. We got point of control 20 handles up. I'm willing to give some of that up. Let's bring it a little bit tighter. We don't have to get exactly to point of control, but if we can get it within a few handles, that's a successful trade. So those are a couple things that may help you with that. But at the end of the day, this is discipline, right? We got to have that discipline. We have to have faith and trust in that market. Now, if you're watching it, to get out of that trade, you need a true confirmation. Market state has to change. New information has to be provided that's going to tell us, hey, I don't like, say we took the long, right? I don't like this long anymore. If I'm out of a trade, I'm actually looking for shorts. Okay, then that's fine. We can go ahead and get out of that. But I think a couple things to think about. Step away, have the plan for the entire trade, set some time frames around it. And when I say time frames, I'm not talking your charting. I'm talking how much time, put a limit. How much time am I willing to sit in on this trade to see it get to this point, right? Like I said, breakouts, we expect to be paid rather quickly. Trend trades, hey, it could take all day to get to where we want it to. So just a couple things to think about. Norman, good to see you as well. All right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and sign on out. John will be back tomorrow morning, 7:45 a.m. Central Time with the market forecast. So make sure you tune in and give him a good heckle. So until then, stay safe, wash your hands, trade smart, and trade well. Look forward to seeing you guys in the markets. Take care, everybody.